Hey there, Bryant Cook, and today we're forcing Storm and Vintage Cube. And I have a hot take for you. Aetherflux Reservoir is the best Stormwing condition in the cube from now on. They added this in recently. I think it is even better than Tendrils of Agony in cube specifically due to cards like Bolas's Citadel. Here, I can't turn down a Mana Crypt. I mean, if Mana Crypt wasn't in this pack, the Aetherflux Reservoir would be a slam dunk. I have to hope that the Reservoir wheels now. Okay. Regarding Storm, none of these cards are super good, so I think I'm going to take the Marsh Flats for fixing. Yawgmoth's Will or Fast Bond. Wow. I mean, I'm going to take the Yawgmoth's Will here, but I also love Fast Bond in Vintage Cube. It plays very, very, very well with Bolas's Citadel. Pack number 4. I mean, I think it's probably just the Simic Signet here, because one of my favorite things to do is pair Bolas's Citadel and Tinker together. I think that's when you end up with your best Storm decks. And, well, you need artifacts for that. So, I mean, you could also take the Inquisition, but that's a card, in my experience, that often wheels. So we could hope to get that back. Cabal Ritual. Don't mind if I do. Looking good for Storm at the moment. Candelabra. So if we end up as a High Tide deck, that could be fine. I do like Fatal Push as well. I'm going to take the Candle. Desperate Ritual or Gruul Signet. I think it's Desperate Ritual when we have Yawgmoth's Will. I'm not super confident in that decision. Gruul Signet's also just fine. Lotus Petal, hello. And we wield the Aetherflux. Yes, this is going to be a good draft for the home team. Okay, I am in. Not super interested in any of these cards, so it doesn't really matter what you take. Dream Halls, I guess. So we're not going to play it, though. I do like Sphinx of the Steel Wind as a Tinker target versus a lot of the aggro decks, so I think that's actually like a reasonable card to end up drafting. I don't care about any of these. We'll take out an Oblivion Stone, just in case. I mean, none of these cards matter. We'll take the Concealed Courtyard. Why not? Sure, Iona. And Razor Verge Thicket. On to pack 2. Let's see some good ones. Is Mox Ruby a good one? Oh, wow. Bolas's Citadel. Alright, so Citadel is, like, I think the most important card for your Storm decks, but I don't think you're allowed to turn down Mox Ruby. We were fortunate enough to wheel Aetherflux Reservoir. We have to hope that Citadel comes back. Oh, geez. I can't believe I just passed the Bolas's Citadel. If Alex McKinley watches this, he's never going to let me hear the end of it. Duress. I don't think Rona is actually very good. I mean, it's fine. Mana Flare when we have Candelabra is okay. It's Blood Crypt versus Duress, in my opinion. I'm going to take the Blood Crypt. Wishclaw Talisman? Yeah, I've also played Escape to the Wilds in the past. It's fine. But I think I want the Wishclaw. Mystical Tutor. I think Mystical Tutor is more important than Lotus Bloom. So we'll take that. Jessica's Will. That is a good one. I'm also interested in wheeling this Goblin Electromancer. Dark Ritual. Okay. Yeah, no one's on Storm. I'm into this. Spell Pierce is fine. We'll take Spell Pierce. Although it's not great in your Bolas's Citadel deck, but, I mean, it is a fine card. And we don't even have the Citadel yet. I mean, I'm begging that it wheels, but you never know. Turnabout Xander's Lounge, the Grixis Triome. We're definitely going to take that. I don't know if this was the pack with Citadel. I mean, we'll take Outcome here. Oh no. I don't think we wheeled it. Mana Flare. Yeah, we didn't wheel the Citadel. Ah. That's a disappointment. Okay. Lotus Bloom. The Electromancer. I am so disappointed now. I didn't narrate it, but we took a Fiend Artisan in the previous pack. I mean, none of these cards matter. We'll take Bergie. I'm just so disappointed. I should have just... Am I really supposed to take Citadel over Mox Ruby? I don't think so. Brain Freeze and Underworld Breach in the same pack. We don't have a win condition. It's worth noting. No, we have Reservoir. I have to hope that the Brain Freeze wheels. I think Breach is too important. The same pack on those is devastating. Take a Lightning Bolt. Seething Song. Yeah, it's probably Seething Song. Seething Song gets us to Flipped Horn, so I think that's something we're really looking at. Also, all these rituals are very good in our Yawgmoth's Will deck. I think we just take the Sulphurous Springs for mana fixing. Tendrils. And Manamorphose. I think it's supposed to be the Tendrils. Really, really wanted that Manamorphose, though. Really, really hoping the Brain Freeze comes back. I tied Blackleaf Cliffs. The problem is, like, we're not really a tide deck. We barely have any blue. In fact, you could argue that it might even be correct to cut blue, so I'm going to take the Cliffs. I mean, we're not going to cut blue, but you could argue it. I mean, I am not in love with Spell Pierce, Sphinx, or Outcome. I do think Electromancer and Mystical Tutor, like, cutting those would actually be kind of silly. Seasoned Pyromancer, maybe? I mean, it is just like a bad Faithless looting. What is this? Unplayable. So it's Everflowing Chalice versus Pyromancer. I don't think I'd probably play either. I guess Chalice is better with Outcome if I end up playing Outcome. The Triumph's technically a duel. You could also take the Zuran Orb for Outcome, but I don't think that's worth playing. And we wield the Brain Freeze. Okay. We did it. I mean, we didn't wield the Bolas's Citadel. Someone clearly isn't playing Storm and chucked my favorite card. Somebody is mean. We have a lot of mana in this deck. A lot of mana. Guess we'll take Blooming Marsh. Some people really like Duretti, but I have not had a lot of success with this card. Like, that is not a card I actually want to play. We'll take the Peatland. Ooh, why did the Manamorphose come? Like, that is not a 14th pick card. Okay. So let's get rid of the Chandra. I don't want to play the Duretti if I don't have to. Do I want to play the Triumph? It's just tapped Mountain Swamp. Get rid of the Blooming Marsh. I mean, Nurturing Peatland is just basic Swamp. I guess that's not true. It deals me damage, but we're not a Citadel deck. But it works well with Yawgmoth's Will. I feel like this is not a very good outcome deck either, but our deck needs cards that draw cards, so if I just try to add lands here, where are we at? So for some reason it didn't bring me up to 40. Okay, so that'd be 14 lands with Mana Crypt, Lotus Petal, Mox Ruby. I don't think I'm supposed to play the White Triumph. We'll add another land instead. I think I need another blue source. It gives me 4 total blue sources. Like, I have to be able to actually cast the Brain Freeze at some point. Okay, I believe that this is our deck. So if I had to give this deck a grade right now, maybe a 5? Like, it's not bad, but it's not great either. Let's see if we can make it work. That would make me pretty happy. So stick around. Let's try to 3-0 this thing. I hope you enjoy the matches. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Alright, time for the first match. We're on the play. Alright, so we have Reservoir, we have Breach, we have Petals. We just need to find Brain Freeze, and we have a Wishclaw Talisman. So this hand does the partying, which is what I'm here to do. Okay, our opponents are ready. I realized that my clicking might have set off my noise gate. We've suspended Lotus Bloom, played Basic Mountain, and passed the turn. Dock Isle. You got it. They have 5 in hand. Lotus Bloom loses a suspend counter. Draw for turn. It's another mountain. We'll go to 19 and play Wishclaw Talisman. Pass that turn. Basic Swamp. Oh, they have Ancestral Recall. That's a pretty good one. Ball Therapist, sure. Lotus Bloom goes down 1 again. We're a mana short here of winning the game, unfortunately. So I just need to pass the turn. I mean, if they name Underworld Breach with this Cabal Therapist, I am not going to be happy. Okay. What is your name? Yawgmoth's Will. I mean, that's a pretty good one. That is a pretty good one. They play Watery Grave. Liliana, the Last Hope. Okay, they're going to return the Cabal Therapist, and they milled an Echo of Aeons. And a Dothy Voidwalker. So we need to win right now, and thankfully we have a Lotus Bloom coming off suspend that is going to allow us to do that. I will cast Lotus Bloom Storm 1. Draw for turn. Sacrifice the Lotus Bloom. Play Underworld Breach. Activate. We will grab the Brain Freeze. Play an island. Play Lotus Petal. Target us. Okay. I'll take 1. Let's escape Dark Ritual. And they just conceded instead. Sweet. Big fan of that. Alright, so we're up a game. Let's switch this back over to card view. It's what I prefer. Actually, this is miserable for a cube. What was I thinking? And now I just left the screen on accident. Here we go. Pile view. This is my first time ever using Magic Online. Please forgive me. Okay. I don't think our deck really has a sideboard, so we're just going to resubmit. Okay. Keep. I really wish that this was a not tap land, but maybe that's fine. Draw. Suspend. Xander's Lounge. Pass the turn. Black. Him to Torok. Mana Crypt and Brain Freeze. Okay. I guess that's my own fault for holding Mana Crypt. Lotus Bloom. Draw for turn. Let's play out the Wishclaw Talisman. Pass the turn. Duress. They have a lot of discard spells. They left us with the Jeska's Will. Okay. Into Blood Artist. Sure. Lotus Bloom. And a Blood Crypt. We're just going to play the Blood Crypt tapped and pass the turn. With Lotus Bloom coming off suspend, we're likely looking at a Brain Freeze win next turn. Looks like our opponent might be a little bit color challenged here. Shield Dread. That's a good one. Okay. Time to party. Cast the Lotus Bloom. Draw for turn. It's a Lotus Petal. That's huge. That means that this is just a win. Grab the Underworld Breach. Sacrifice this. Target them for 3 red. Underworld Breach. Our opponent has said GG's, but I'm going to wait for them to concede. So let's just cast our spells. Okay. We have revealed Tendrils of Agony as well. Okay, Dark Ritual. And they concede. Sweet. We are 1-0. Let's get the next 2. Maybe this 5 out of 10 can secretly, get the job done. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 2 on the play. We have a lot of mana on turn 1 into a Wishclaw, but I don't think we actually have a win, which is pretty unfortunate. We could, like, Yawgmoth's Will, replay a bunch of stuff, but this isn't Demonic Tutor. If this is Demonic Tutor, I think that this is a win. We'll keep Mountain into pass the turn. Verdant Catacombs, sure thing. Basic Forest, I'm a big fan of that. Deathrite Shaman, less of a fan of that. Should I try to push my luck here? I think I'm going to wait 1 turn. Blue, I don't like that. Dimir Signet. They do not attack, so they could have a counterspell up now. Breach. Okay, so that means that this is a win, assuming that our opponent doesn't have anything. Dark Ritual. Let's try a Seething Song. Uh-oh. They're responding. Am I getting spell pierced? Remand. That's a bummer. We have to pass. If I would have been more gutsy, we would have had a turn 2, but how was I supposed to know Underworld Breach, the actual absolute perfect card, was on top of my deck? 3 mana here for a Tinker. Inkwell, okay. Even if I draw a land here, we don't have a win. Okay, draw step. Mana Crypt. Wow, that was perfect. Sure. We'll do blue-black. Play the Electromancer. Ball Ritual. Underworld Breach. Is this a win? So we play Breach, we have 3 mana floating. I can... Yeah, this does do it. Wishclaw. Activate. We'll go get Brain Freeze. Escape Lotus Petal. I think we want to keep the Manamorphose. Now we sacrifice this for blue. Brain Freeze ourselves. We're going to mill our entire deck. And then, actually, let's target them with a couple. Okay, now we'll cast Lotus Petal. Blue. Now we'll target them with Brain Freeze. For 33. Okay, so they have been decked. Wow, what a draw Mana Crypt was. I thought we were dead to rights, and we just drew the best card in our deck. I love it. Okay, this deck's probably better than a 5, but, like, I don't know. This deck's tough to tell. Like, I think that the fact that we have no top end, like, no Mind's Desire, no Time Spiral, no Bolas's Citadel, none of that stuff is a little bit concerning. This hand just, like, I don't know. Guess we have Aetherflux Will? Keep and regret it? Main phase consider. Puts Eureka to the graveyard. Brain Freeze, okay. So now we just need a Lotus Petal and an Underworld Breach. No big deal. Also, with Brain Freeze, if your opponent plays a lot of spells in one turn, you can mill yourself with Yawgmoth or with Brain Freeze into Will, which is a pretty good strategy. Let's go get our Xander's Lounge. Draw for turn. Manamorphose, okay. Is this a Tinker? Oh, it is a Tinker. Right into my Spell Pierce. Whoops, undo. Stat for blue mana. Sorry, Tinker, I love you so much, but I had to do it. If you're a member of this channel, there's a Tinker emote. And, yeah, you're allowed to use it. We'll play the Chalice for 1. Let's Manamorphose and then Brain Freeze ourselves. I want a Yawgwill win next turn. Dark Ritual, Seething Song, Underworld Breach, Mana Crypt. There's a lot of good cards in there. They play Night's Whisper. Into Hansen, Bop, Birds of Paradise. Upkeep. Let's Mystical Tutor. We'll go get Cabal Ritual. Yeah, I want Cabal Rit. Draw. Player land for turn. Black, colorless, Cabal Ritual. Play the Yawgmoth's Will. Cabal Ritual again. Play the Aetherflux Reservoir. Dark Ritual. Trigger. Lotus Petal. Mana Crypt. Play a Seething Song. Did I tap for the wrong color there? Oh no, I just needed to click on the colorless. Okay. Manamorphose. Blue. Shoot you for 50. 2-0. Alright, we're one match away from greatness. Let's see if we can go get that trophy. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Alright, it's time to win this last match. We're on the draw. And while we have a hand with a lot of mana in it, no real payoff, I think I'm going to keep this. Basic Forest into Llanowar Elves. So non-blue, big fan. Let's see if we can draw something that allows us to win the game. Basic Mountain is not it. We'll play Blood Crypt. Pass. Horizon Canopy, Selesnya Signet, so green-white most likely. And they're passing. Lotus Bloom loses a Suspend counter. Draw for turn. Yawgmoth's Will, I like that one. Alright, Everflowing Chalice, we'll cast it with Multi-Kicker. Adds a counter to it. Sweet. If our draw for the following turn is Brain Freeze, we could try to win by brain freezing ourselves into Yawgmoth's Will. Overgrown Tomb. Tide Hollow Sculler, that's brutal. Oh, that's actually just devastating here. We have a Lightning Bolt in our deck that could theoretically get back our Yawgmoth Will. Llanowar Elves connects, we'll fall to 19. And a Lotus Bloom. Draw for turn. Mystical Tutor. Okay, so that was actually a huge draw because now we can Mystical Tutor for Lightning Bolt, and then we can use Mystical Tutor in conjunction with Manamorphose and Yawgmoth Will to win the game. I might have mispronounced that. Basically, Mystical Tutor plus Manamorphose acts like Demonic Tutor. That's what I meant to say. Reclamation Sage. Sure. I mean, the 1 mana is fine. Raven Inspector, sure thing. So they can swing for 5 here. I'm sorry, the Rex Sage just came in, only for 3. I'm also wondering if I even want a Yawgmoth Will. So I definitely want the Bolt. I'm just saying that I'm not sure if I want to Yawgmoth Will right away. The answer is probably still yes, but it's just something I'm wondering here. So we'll cast the Lotus Bloom. That is spell number 1. We're going to draw the Lightning Bolt. My concern here is that I actually don't have a whole lot of mana. So let's talk this through. So I tap the Blackleaf Cliffs in the mountain. I cast Desperate Ritual, Lightning Bolt the Tide Hollow, Manamorphose, Yawg Will. Yeah, I'm just like short on mana. So instead I'm going to pass the turn. I lose the Storm Count from Lotus Bloom, but it's not the end of the world. Our opponent sacrifices their clue to draw a card. Wall of Omens, sure thing. They swing for 6. So they did not play a land. You could get greedy here and Lightning Bolt the Tide Hollow, but if they go Black Source and a Reanimate, you kind of just lose the game. I'm not going to allow my opponent that opportunity. Especially only over a few life points. I would like my Yawgmoth's Will back, please. Thank you for my Yawgmoth's Will, I do appreciate that. Mana Crypt, that's a pretty good one. Okay, Desperate Ritual. Manamorphose. We'll do black. Land. And then we'll sacrifice this for black. Just so you know, I cannot cast this from the graveyard with the Yawgmoth's Will. That is not how Magic works. We'll cast a Desperate Ritual. Storm is 5. Mystical Tutor. Tendrils of Agony. You'll Manamorphose into that Tendrils. Black. Lightning Bolt you. Play the Everflowing Chalice. Let's set that down to 0. And how do you feel about 10 drills? Boom. 1 game away from 3060. Okay. Can we do it? The deck with no top-end payoffs. Is it going to be good enough? I mean, we're playing Paradoxical Outcome, a card that I absolutely love in Vintage, but I'm not convinced it's actually good in Cube, and we haven't cast it yet for a reason. Let's resubmit. Hope we get a good one. We have Mana Crypt. That's pretty solid. Mystical Tutor. We don't have any good Mystical Tutor targets, really. I think I'm actually going to mulligan this. Like, there's nothing good in our deck to Mystical Tutor for. Okay, so the Wishclaw gets Underworld Breach. And then we have Petal. So we're 1 piece away. I think you bottom the Cabal Ritual here. Turn 1, tap land, pass. Suspend Lotus Bloom, okay. Mana Crypt was a fine draw. We don't really have anything explosive to get, though. I guess I could go get, like, Outcome, but is that even good? I'm going to hold the artifacts for Storm Count in case I draw either Brain Freeze or Underworld Breach. Land number 2. Please do not destroy my Wishclaw Talisman. Raphalos. Lotus Bloom loses a counter. Draw. An island. Play it and pass. Okay, so they can go up to 6 mana here. They choose to play the Overgrown Tomb tapped. So 5 mana. Orzhov Signet. They have 3 cards in hand. Wall of Omens will replace itself. Sure. That's all they had? Nothing? We draw another land. I'm going to fetch here just so I can look at my deck. I want to see if there's anything I can get with this Wishclaw Talisman. The Yawgmoth's Will doesn't do anything, neither does Breach. I guess we could get the Outcome, but that's not a card I actually want. Juska's Will. Burgi, but like we don't have enough mana for the Burgi to work. Grab the lounge. We just have to pass. If I had like one more artifact, I'd consider outcome as a draw for. But when you give your opponent Wishclaw Talisman, you can't return it from their side of the battlefield. That's just not how the card works. So they're making 3 mana again. 6 mana was not enough last turn. Is 8 mana enough this turn to do something damaging? Primeval Titan. Okay. They got 2 pretty normal lands. Tide Hollow Sculler. So they can take one of our mana rocks. The better of the two is actually the Lotus Petal. Come on, we have 2 draws that win the game out of 30. 1 in 15. Looks like we can cast the Lotus Bloom this turn. Draw. It's a reservoir. Play it. And then we'll play the Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. I'm a little bit worried about this Raphalos now because they're at the point where they could start casting things like Emrakul the Promised End or Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. Reclamation Sage. Oh, they went after the reservoir. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, you can do that. They draw a card with Horizon Canopy. Now they can attack for 8. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. Okay. Ouch. This is a spot, this game, where it really shows the lack of something to do, like a lack of top-end card. I was talking about Mind's Desire, Bolas's Citadel. We've been begging this entire game to have something to do with our Wishclaw and haven't been able to. Cycle Manamorphose. Red, black. Let me draw a land. Ay. So next turn they can swing for 10. I could activate and go get outcome. Would be for 3. I don't know. Let's activate. I could get Jusk as well. Give me 3 hits for something good. I think it's got to be Jusk as well. Okay, exile the top 3. Mana Flare, Dark Ritual, Spell Pierce. None of those are good enough. I mean, our opponent already has next to infinite mana. I think playing Mana Flare here is like kind of free. Pass the turn. They have to be able to win from here, right? All the mana in the world. Elish Norn, that is in fact lethal, so we can pick that up. Unfortunately, it's not a 306-0, but we can still get the trophy. Come on, deck. Please be better. On the play for game 3. So what you're looking to do with this hand is play Horn, but it's like a turn 4 play at best. I'm going to mulligan. Sad. To 5. I guess we keep this. Bottom Tendrils, bottom Swamp. I don't love this. Yeah, the fact that our deck doesn't have a Time Twister, a Wheel of Fortune, anything like that, it's like a pretty big gaping hole in the deck. Like, I think we got a little bit lucky in the first 2 matches, and now we're sort of seeing the weakness of the deck. Okay. Brain Freeze. We'll just pass the turn. I could play out Bergie, God of Storytelling, but I think we might need the Horn side this game on a mulligan to 5. They attack for 1. They just pass. So they're looking to use the Clue token most likely. Lightning Bolt. I think I'm going to sit on the Bolt. Because in order to make use of the Lightning Bolt, I have to play out the Mox Ruby, and I don't know if I can afford that being blown up. And there's Raphalos. Right now, Raphalos makes 1 extra green, so it's not super scary. We're at 18. Ever-flowing Chalice. Let's play it for 1. Pass the turn. Next turn, we could theoretically play the back half of Bergie, Hornfell. And they have the Reclamation Sage. So I'm glad that I actually drew the Ever-flowing Chalice to bait this out so that way the Horn lives. They attack for 3, I'll go to 15. Draw for turn. Okay. So we can Cabal Ritual. We need to untap with the Bergie. And by Bergie, I mean Hornfell. Pass the turn. Okay, so Raphalos taps for 2 now. They have 5, 6 mana. 7 mana. Elish Norn, you've got it. Our opponent is telling me that I need to win quickly. I'm at 8. Underworld Breach. Jessica's Will. Alright, so I think we can start off by discarding the Lightning Bolt. And there's Underworld Breach, wow. Discard the Jessica's Will. So my concern is not hitting the Lotus Petal we need in order to win the game. So is there a way that I can cast, like, because right now I have 5 mana. So Simic Signet could give me an extra look for that Lotus Petal, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Play the Breach. Storm is 1. Cabal Ritual, Storm 2. We have to hit the Lotus Petal off this, or else we're dead. Play the Bar of Soap. Simic Signet. Make 2 mana. Alright. We're going to reveal 12 out of the 26 cards in our deck. We have to hit Lotus Petal. I guess I could actually hit Mana Crypt too. We hit Lotus Petal. We've done it. Alright, play the Lotus Petal. And we'll cast another Brain Freeze. Target them. Okay. Do you have an Eldrazi in your deck? I mean, the big green decks usually have something like that. Play the Mana Crypt. We'll exile some lands. Lotus Petal. Okay, so now we'll Brain Freeze again. A little bit nervous here. I have a feeling that they have an Eldrazi, and I didn't mill the Tendrils. Like, the fact that Tendrils is in the bottom 2 here is very bad for me. And then I'll target myself with the last 2. Please no Eldrazi. Okay, and we've decked our opponent. Well, let's see if I can finish off with a lethal Tendrils. Play Lotus Petal. Exile land, Brain Freeze, Manamorphose. We can't draw with Manamorphose, so it's pretty much dead to me. We have 8 cards, so this should be lethal. Sacrifice for a black. We'll cast Dark Ritual now. You don't want to cast Cabal Ritual because you're going to lose Threshold. And Tendrils you. Okay. Boom! Well, while our opponent clicks their life total down to 0, I would just like to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, support the video. My Vintage Cube videos rarely do well, even when I do well. They're by far the worst performing videos on the channel, but I like to do them when they're in season. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Huge fan of Aetherflux Reservoir. I think it could have been a little bit better this league, but we didn't end up having Boss's Citadel, which is, you know, unfortunate, but hey, we got the trophy. That's ultimately what matters. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.